Welcome, everybody, and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! It is 2025. I cannot believe that I am saying that. And not like I didn't think I would live to see 2025, but I can just remember being younger, counting like, okay, in 1993, I'll be in high school. And then in 95, yes, listen, I don't mind telling my age. I don't mind saying I graduated class of 1995 and I'll be celebrating 30 years from graduating from high school this year. But no, I can really
I was in kindergarten.
Stop your lies.
Maybe second grade.
I am not that much older than you. You need to cut it out. When I graduated from high school, I'm 5 years older than you. So you were like 9th grade, 8th grade.
7th.
Yeah, you were 7th grade. Oh my God. I was not a senior in high school thinking about anybody in 7th grade. So, but Happy New Year, everybody. We are so excited to be here, and we are very excited, yes, for our new show.
Fuck it.
It is not fuck it. It is F it.
Oh.
F it. And we are going to be effing it all year long.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So how was your, I guess we were together. How
Are you going to ask me how was my New Year's?
Yes, I want to know, how was your New Year?
My New Year's was stressful.
Why was it stressful?
Because of you.
No, I thought we had a...
Do you want to keep it a buck?
Let's keep it. That's what we do on this show. We keep it a buck. F it. Let's go.
My wife stressed me out on New Year's.
How did I stress you out on New Year's, Willie?
So we didn't do much. My wife made a bunch of apps, if you will. My sister, my brother-in-law, and my niece came over.
That was the night of New Year's Eve. Let's be clear. I made a bunch of appetizers.
She made a bunch of appetizers, and I was exhausted because I had work early in the morning. So we both decided that we weren't going to do much. My sister had not planned to come over, but my wife was like, well, I may do some things. So if you guys want to come over, please come over. So she took the invite and she did come over. In this process, as we're slapping down apps, watching TV, I told my wife, in the Spanish culture, if you eat 12 green grapes at the strike of midnight, it's supposed to bring you good fortune.
Up under a table.
Up under a table, right? Fine. So my wife goes, fine. So here goes around 11:15. My wife is like, well, mind you.
No, it was later. It was like, it's my fault. So I'm going to let you tell your story, but it was about 11:40, 11:45.
So whatever. So I'm going to give it 11:30. So 11:30 swings around. And my wife is like, all right, the ball's about to drop. I want to go upstairs and shave my kitty cat. I want to take a hot shower. I want to clean up, and then I'm gonna come back down, and then we're gonna say Happy New Year together. We're counting the year down. Great. I'm like, fine, babe. I'll be right here. So she runs upstairs. I'm currently sitting on the couch by myself. No, that's not true. I was sitting on the couch, and my niece, Aikisha's niece, Missy, was in the living room with me. So we're like, 11:40 comes down. Keisha's not down yet. 11:45 comes around. Keisha's not down yet. So I'm watching, I think it was Channel 7. All right. It was the Dick Clark's New Year's countdown.
The ball drop.
Right. Time starts ticking away. I'm thinking that Keisha was going to do everything she said she was going to do at an extreme fast pace. Right. 11:55 comes around. Hey, babe. Of course, 11:58 comes around. Keisha, nothing. So by the time I look up, the ball has come down. Happy New Year. I hug Keisha's niece, and I grab my green grapes. I dive underneath the table because I want good fortune in 2025. I had a hell of a 2024.
Yes,
so this year has to be a fucking home run for the Colognes, right? So while I'm underneath this table slapping down these green grapes, guess who comes charging down the stairs? What happened? We're in 2025. I'm eating these grapes for us and the family. Oh my God. Why didn't you come get me? I was screaming your name. And if you were,
I was in the shower and I did not hear you. And I thought, listen, I didn't plan on being in the shower when you guys were counting down. So I realized, I was like, oh my God, let me get out. And I hear y'all 10, 9, 8. So I was like, okay, wait, I'm thinking you would come up if you realized it was 11:58 or 11:57 or whatever time it was, and I was not there. You don't yell my name. And I mean, not on a brag or anything, but you're on one floor. I'm on the third floor.
No.
How the hell did you think you were going to
hear?
hear? I was going to hear his name, guys, when I'm in our shower is like a steam shower. I'm trying to remove all of 2024 off of my body.
And it's her fault.
Why
She
would you be
decided to do
yelling my
this.
name?
And she decided
Instead of walking up the
No.
stairs or coming up our elevator, if you want to just be lazy, and saying, yo, it's 11:58 or 59. Come on out, because I'm about to get my ass up under the table and eat some grapes.
So I call bullshit. My wife can hear me fart in my man cave, right? Any other time she could hear a mouse run around this house. Secondly, if you say you're coming downstairs, then be downstairs, right? I want to watch the ball drop. My wife to this day blames me for us not bringing the New Year's in together, which I still call bullshit.
Well,
we're going to push by that, right?
Yeah, we did. I mean, I did get downstairs at 12 before it turned 12:01, and we came upstairs, and then we went.
We had an argument.
Yeah, we did argue because I couldn't believe he
She
would
was
not.
like, I can't believe you didn't do that. I just don't understand. I'm just like, you said you were coming downstairs.
But
I was waiting for you downstairs.
If I was not there, you get your ass up and you come get your wife so we could count the year down together.
How about you?
Ladies, am I wrong?
Yes.
And listen, I want you guys to drop comments below here and let me know if I was wrong. So, but look, he wasn't that mad because we went upstairs.
No, don't do that.
Oh, we got in our closet. We prayed. And we prayed for our new year, and I asked God to remove that spirit of arguing and anything that made me feel like he forgot about me.
Just for context and clarity, my wife, we both pray. We both pray in our prayer closets. Yeah, she does mostly her praying in her prayer closet. So she was like, "We got to pray this off us. We got to pray this off us in the new year." I'm like, "Fine, Keisha, it's really your fault, but it's fine, right?" So we're sitting there, and she's like, "God, I don't want to be confused. I don't want just any disruption in the new year." So she goes,
"You just gonna share my prayers?"
Hey, you said, "Fuck it, let's do it."
Okay, that sun was kicking our butt over there, so we had to adjust around a little bit. But as I was saying,
so yes, so once again, we ended up in Keisha's prayer closet. I'm all jacked up, knees, back, shoulders, all jacked up, right? Keisha's butt ass naked. She's going through. She's asking God to make sure that this start of confusion and disruption does not bleed into the new year. And Keisha gets her prayers out, and it's my turn to pray. And I had to tell God, I said, "Look, God, this is Willie talking. I want to say thank you for allowing me to be underneath one roof, with my wife, my children, to have food in my belly, clothes on my backs, bills paid, and having a family that loves me and I love my family." Yes. It's all about small gratitude. It's not about tradition. It's not about no stupid ball. It's not about who you're not with. It's all about counting your wins. And I had to remind my wife, we are blessed and we have abundance.
Yes. And I had to remind you that I was praying for more blessings and more abundance. And the only thing I was saying is that I wanted to be with you when we counted the year down so we could kiss and we prayed together. But after that, as annoyed as he claimed to be, what did he want to do in my prayer closet?
We had sex.
He wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
F it, y'all. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that is how our New Year's Eve into New Year's Day was. I mean, it was great. And then the next, that same day, we went to sleep and we got up. And the reason I did appetizers that night is because the next day I knew I was preparing a full course Southern meal. So I had black eyed peas, for luck. We had greens for money. And I did macaroni and cheese. I did candied yams and fried pork chops. I had neck bones in there and turkey necks. And it was really, really good. So we had a great day. It was quiet. We watched movies. We enjoyed each other. Our children were still enjoying their Christmas gifts. So overall, we had a very happy New Year. And we hope that you had the same.
Happy New Year.
So today's F, actually, we're going to be going over two F's today. The first F we will be discussing is finale. And we're saying finale because we are going to address our departure from a show that I love very much. I was fortunate, happy, grateful, and just overwhelmed with joy to be a part of. I would say that, and that's Belle Collective. It is on the Oprah Winfrey Network, and I was a part of the show for 3 seasons. I came on the show in season 2, and I was a part of season 2, season 3, and this past season 4. And Willie and I decided that after this season, it was going to be our last season. So there were a lot of things that happened in this season. And we are going to discuss those things today. And we call it finale because this will be our final time addressing the show, addressing the finale of that season, and addressing the reunion. So today we're going to address the brawl. We're going to address the phone issue, and we're going to address our reason for leaving and why we left on Carlos's Messy Monday on live. So we'll address that. Our second F that we're going to talk about today is the future. The F is future. And we are going to talk about what we do every year at the first of the year, and that's our vision boards. And we have a vision board party every year. So we're going to discuss that. So, first, finale, and then second, the future. You okay with that?
Locked in.
All right, so let's go. So, with the finale, as you guys know, like I said, I was a part of Belle Collective, which is a show that is said to be focused on 6 Black entrepreneurial women in the state of Mississippi, particularly in the capital city of Jackson, Mississippi, which is where I'm from. It was an amazing opportunity. Like I said, I was very happy to be a part of the cast, to be asked to be a part of the show. I wanted to be a part of the show because of his focus on Jackson, the storyline. Even the when you went on that first season of the show, it talks about women who were coming together to revitalize a historic area in Jackson, which was Ferry Street. So that was my first peak interest. That was the reason first of all, anything that's happening or coming out of Jackson, Mississippi, I am going to support. I'm going to applaud. I'm going to talk about it. And I wanted to just congratulate the women, I think, for bringing attention to the Fair Street Historic District because, like you've all heard me say over and over and over, my family has been on Fair Street since 1896. Now, Fair Street is not a storyline for me, but I was happy that attention was being brought to it in what I felt was a positive way at the time. And on a network like the Oprah Winfrey Network, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, Miss Oprah Winfrey herself is from Mississippi. So I thought that was absolutely amazing. Told my husband about it, told our friends about it from Jersey to Mississippi. And actually, when the first season came out, we had a watch party for it. So when I was invited to be a part of the show, I welcomed it and I was excited to be a part of it. So you guys have watched me over seasons of Belle Collective. Well, we got to this final season for the Clones. I thought that this season was going, for me, I thought it was going well. You think when I first came on, I was sort of like a villain. They thought that, the word was, I thought I was better than everybody. I thought I was above the other ladies in the cast, which was not true. But I played my part. And I think what people fail to realize, because we say it's reality TV, it still is a job. And you are put in situations and it becomes a part of your real life. Let's put it that way. So let's get to this finale. We get through the season, like I said, which I thought went really well. You had a lot of focus on Sophia and JJ's relationship and their family. You had focus on just other things that were going on in the girls'
Yeah.
lives. But for us, I don't really think, I mean, we were talking about what was happening with me at the time, and I still am on this menopause journey. And that was real life for us. I was dealing with things happening to my body that had never happened before. I didn't know what was going on with me. I was going in and out of doctor's appointments. They showed some of them, and then some of them they didn't see. I'm dealing with, being a mom, an older mom, as they like to call me, of toddlers, and you coming back and forth. And another thing I want to do while we talk about this finale story, I want to get rid of a lot of the myths or a lot of the rumors that were put out there.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Take off then.
I think one is that you do not like Mississippi.
No, I like Mississippi. I think
Yes.
for that was one of the storylines I didn't. Well, that was one of the narratives that was thrown out there that I didn't like. I think I've said time after time, I very much appreciate Mississippi. I appreciate the hardworking people that are in Mississippi. I think it was frustrating, and I think that's part of your plight, is that when you go to Birmingham and you're in Atlanta, you see some of these other cities thriving. It's hard. It makes you scratch your head. I'm like, why isn't Jackson right along with some of these other cities? And when you kind of,
and that was our reasoning for going down there. But sticking to what you said, it was a narrative that was given to you. It wasn't that you didn't like Mississippi. We just did. It was the differences between you and the other guys were highlighted, and we went with that narrative.
yeah.
But it wasn't for you to go with the narrative to make you seem like you were better than them. It was, I mean, you were talking to guys that you were different. You were from different places.
Mm-hmm.
You did not understand. The crazy thing was he never understood anything that Cliff was saying, and I understood everything that Cliff was saying.
Right.
So we would joke about that, but because it was a part of the narrative and the storyline that was there, of course, we played it up, or Willie played it up. But I mean, I think honestly, a lot of times you didn't understand Cliff.
No,
and
I didn't.
Yeah. But it wasn't in a way of like, I don't understand what the hell you saying. I think I'm better than you. It was more of, he meets these guys. We're going to take it back because people say from season 2, from the beginning when Willie came on, he started making fun of them. That's not really true. They actually started with Willie. Because remember when you guys went on the fishing trip?
Mm-hmm.
They talked about you so bad because of your outfit.
Yeah, I mean, that was.
But listen, though, what I'm saying is, so it wasn't you coming out. You were going on a fishing trip where you thought you were getting ready to bond with the guys.
Yeah.
And so they started joning, like we say.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, you weren't tripping on it because at that point, I remember you coming home saying, yeah, like we were throwing shots for each other. They're really cool. I didn't learn anything about fishing, but it was at that point, I think Willie, coming from a locker room mentality where when you go in, you have all these men going back and forth with each other. You don't really want to come in doing that. But when you saw the guys coming at you, you're like, oh, okay, we're good. They're throwing shots at me. I'm going to throw shots at them.
Right.
So you thought that was where you guys were.
Yes.
They talked about your hat. They talked about the outfit you put together.
They lit me up. It's fine.
That's my point. You see how you just said it was fine.
Yeah.
And they thought it was funny.
Yes.
And truth be told, you didn't learn a shit about fishing from them because only person knew how to fish, I think, was Cliff. Because if you watched
and
it,
JJ knows how
and
to
JJ
fish.
knew how to fish. Glenn didn't know anything about fishing. He actually admitted that in this season 4 when he went to go visit somebody to talk about his issues with Letitia.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know anything about fishing. But they joned on you. You thought it was funny. You went on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Willie talks about this rap, we go into another scene or whatever. It becomes like the end of the world. Why would he say this? Would he do this? Why was he insulting him? Willie thinks he's better. No, Willie was joning on Glenn just like you guys did with him. And if we take it back, everybody wants to know how did the Williams and the Colognes become so close? Well, a lot of things that you guys did not see in that season 2 is the relationship that began to form between us. After that fishing scene or that fishing episode, Willie still wanted to learn how to fish. Well, JJ invited Willie out to his house because they have a pond or lake or whatever in front of their house on their property.
Pond, yeah.
And so he invited Willie out to fish. Why they didn't film this, I don't know. So Willie took my best friend's husband and their sons, And they went on a weekend when we were not working, and they fished and they bonded. They did that a couple of times when we were off. That wasn't anything that they were interested in filming. Okay. But that didn't stop a relationship from building. So from that, one day Willie went out there and I was sick. And I guess Sophia asked them about me. He told her I wasn't feeling well. Well, when Willie came home, he had a plate of food, some soup, and some things that Sophia had sent me. I called her to thank her for these things, and our relationship began to grow. We did film scenes with each other. There's several scenes that Sophia and I filmed together that were not aired. And a lot of the pictures that you see of Sophia and I together were from some of those scenes that we would take pictures together either before or after we filmed those scenes. I think they didn't even air. Did they air the bowling alley scene? Because that's when,
they did.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how we formed this friendship. And later on in that year when we weren't working, they flew up to New Jersey. Mm-hmm. They came to our bar. We had some kind of a celebration of a year, 2 or 3 years, whatever year it was. They came to the baptism of my children. They were here for Holly's second birthday party. Yes. So we began to have this relationship. So to answer your question, how did we become so close? It's because we had on camera and off camera time. People have put out there, well, she's only in Jackson when we're filming, and we don't see her until we're filming. No, sweetheart, you don't see me until we're filming because we're not friends. I'm in Jackson all the time. Ask my friends. Ask Sophia. Actually, when they put that out there, I was in Jackson when I saw the video that they sent. So that's how we built a relationship with the Williams. Let's go back because I want to address when you saw on the show, we were coming to the grand opening of the Goddess Links 2.0 yep. and Taste. Everybody's like, oh, why did they show up 3 hours late? Honey, it's TV. We did not show up 3 hours late. We were actually there sitting in our car across the street watching when they cut the ribbon. When you pull up to your job, you wait until the boss or production or whoever tells you to come in because we're putting the show together for you guys. And in order for it to have story, you have to have certain things to happen. So no, we were not 3 hours late. My husband, my niece, and I were waiting in the car until we were told to come in. They say they saw us driving up and down the street. Well, you saw us driving up and down the street because we were waiting to see when we could come in after we parked. And when we realized they were not going to bring us in for this particular scene, I said, you know what? I'm going to go get my children. Y'all know they say that's my go-to line. Well, when I realized it was close to 4:00 and you're not bringing me into a scene, I'm not going to send someone to get my children. I'm just going to go get my children myself. So I picked my children up, took my children to where my niece's children were. And then when we came back, that's when we were told we would be able to get in the scene. I was mic'd up the entire time over there listening to everything that was happening. So, since I'm no longer on the show, I don't really give a shit about breaking the fourth walls because what I'm not going to do is continue to let a false narrative float around here and people play with our integrity and play with our character. So even if you want to say it was 3 hours late that we got to Goddess Links, when we came in, we still came with a great attitude and we were coming with the best intentions. I was not feeling well that day. But I knew that I was going to come to that event. And well, I had to, one, because it's an all cast event. So when you see these things and you ask, well, why would somebody even show up to this? They weren't even invited. It doesn't matter if we were invited. We're putting on a show for you guys and it's your entertainment. And with it being your entertainment, that's when it goes to, this is our job. So when they say on a call sheet that it's an all cast event, it means that all cast has to show up. But we were going to show up anyway because we wanted to be there to support Latrice and Cliff. Am I right? Am I on the right track?
You're moving.
Yes. Okay. So we come in. It was really hot in there. I do remember that we were going in and out.
It was a hot day.
Yeah, they had us. Yeah,
Over.
it's May 22nd at this point. We go in, you have to go in and do little parts. They tell you to go talk to so and so, go do this, go do that. But overall, everything, I mean, it was amazing. I was very impressed with what she had done with both buildings. At this point, we're still in Goddess Lens. She has suites upstairs. We didn't get a chance to go upstairs to see them, but I had heard how nice everything was. So they are wrapping that up, and we are getting ready to walk over to Taste. It is Willie that was in my car, Willie, Aikisha, and my niece. Where these other 14 or 15 people come from, I do not know. I had made a phone call letting them know that Latrice, who at the time I don't have an issue with, she is opening up a new venue, a restaurant in my family's community. If you leave out of Taste Bar and Grill and go one way to the right, you could walk to my sister's, my brother, and my cousin's house because they're right off of the State Street, if you're familiar with Jackson, Mississippi. If you leave out of Taste and you go to the left, you will be at my home that we own in Jackson, Mississippi. You literally could walk there. So, because we were supposed to do a scene with my family earlier talking about heart health, dealing with the health fair that Sophia and I did. That scene was not able to happen because of time. I said, hey, Latrice is having something. It's open. It was announced on the radio, and it was also posted on her page. Guys, come through. I don't have an issue with Latrice, so I don't mind with my family coming because they're going to have a great time. Only people who came was my niece, who was with Willie and me, my 64-year-old sister, and a cousin who is, I think she's 50. She's 58 or 59. She's a little bit older than my sister, my other sister. So anyway, I don't know how two older ladies and my niece become 15, but that is who all was with me besides JJ and Gucci. I knew other people in there, but they did not come with me. So we're going to be very clear. Now, mind you, from Goddess Lens to Taste, I mean, Glenn's throwing little bitty shots. I actually remember when he and I were in Goddess Lens, he was telling me, I'm cool with you. You and I don't have an issue. It's your husband. And I said to him then, I said, now listen, Glenn, if you have an issue with my husband, you have an issue with me. But I'm thinking we're joking. I'm thinking we're playing. It's fine, whatever. We get over to Taste. It was absolutely beautiful. You and I both were talking about, I remember you coming up to me saying, babe, did you see the cigar lounge? Did you see the cigar bar?
Mm-hmm.
No issue whatsoever. Now I do see Pearson and her little sidekick, the one who was at the first brunch back in season 2, who was talking all the noise on social media. But I mean, I'm not even thinking anything about them. But I mean, it was supposed to be a birthday party for him. Actually, the birthday party was supposed to start later that night because on the invitation we got, I thought we would be gone by the birthday party because the invitation said his party was starting at 7 p.m. Mind you, this is during the day, so we're at 4 or 5 p.m. She asked me, were we going to be there to do the birthday cake? And I said, yeah, we're going to be leaving. She said, well, we're going to be doing the cake. I said, well, after that, we're leaving. When we began to film our scenes, my family was outside. They were getting ready to leave because they had eaten, they had food, they had drinks. And so they're like, oh, well, if y'all about to start working, we're going to leave. So my sister, my cousin, and my niece had stepped out when you see us sitting, getting ready to do this scene. Well, what is not seen, because people think that the energy shifted when Glenn came back in the room after his change. It actually started before that. Because remember, Cliff started with you before Glenn walked back in.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's when he told us he was Jesus.
Yeah.
I remember him saying and I'm thinking like, what in the heck is what's going on with Cliff? But then again, Cliff is always drunk. Anytime we're coming together for a group activity, 9.9 times out of 10, He's already been drinking for 3 or 4 hours before we started. So I was just like, oh yeah, I know we about to get the hell up out of here because I don't like, one, I don't know who the fuck Cliff is talking to. And secondly, come on, let's get this thing going. So we were really waiting for Glenn to come back in because we were told when he comes in, they're going to sing happy birthday and we were going to be out. Cliff comes in, which you guys see. I mean, not Cliff, Glenn, excuse me, because I want to be very clear. Glenn comes back in and you extend your hand saying like, happy birthday. He was like, hey man, happy birthday. And then that's what you guys saw. You're seeing bits and pieces of the guys going back and forth, back and forth. And I'm really wondering and looking at Willie like, what the hell is going on? Someone says that I'm in Willie's ear like a chihuahua, hyping him up. I never went in your ear. The only thing I said to you one time was, I said, don't say anything else. Because in my mind, I am a producer. I know how production works. And I didn't know where this storyline was going. But what you were not going to say is that Willie kept egging them on. So it continues to go. You guys saw it escalate. They broke it up. We go outside. All of that you guys saw. When we get outside, well, on the inside, what they didn't see, the girl in the pink was my niece. That's who came with me. And she told me, she said, TT, we were outside. I heard my uncle arguing. I heard my uncle stand up. And she said, the only thing I thought was he is in there by himself. He didn't have anybody. Everybody else in that place was either family or friend to Latrice or Letitia. So that's why she came in. That's why you saw her standing in the background. And that's why she came up. Now, do I think my husband needed me or my niece? No. But like I've been very clear all along, when my husband comes to Mississippi, I will never, ever allow anybody to disrespect him because I know he is there because of me. And at that point, we felt very disrespected. You're telling us you don't like him. You're saying we don't have anything. You're saying you're Jesus. You talking about he's a Belle, and Belle is another word for acting like a bitch. Let's just put it out there. You're saying all of these things. And did anybody expect for him not to say anything?
I'm laughing because it's just crazy. Everything's flashing.
Playing it back, yes. And Glenn says F you. I say F you to Glenn, and then she says whatever to me. And of course, I'm like, oh, well, okay. And it can go for you too. So, and there was, the people around them. So when these girls come out, my niece is thinking that it's a continuation of what was happening inside. So it goes on from there. They start firing off. It's broken up. There's no one out there but Willie, Aikisha, and my niece. Where these other 14 or 15 people come from, I don't know. But you know what was funny to me? They keep saying we had all these people, but then you say about 8 of your people beat my niece down. Right. So somebody wrote in one of the comments, okay, so if they were all these people with them, what were the other 14 people doing?
Yeah, the math wasn't mathing.
Yeah, while y'all were beating the niece down. It's not math. And so anyway, that was broken up. That was the brawl. I'm going to address the phone situation. Apparently, after this fight, Latrice's family and my niece and us, we leave. We go around to my house. Like I said, it's right there. Everybody who was there that I knew or heard about it came around to my house. So JJ hands me my phone and my purse because I had lost my phone. I lost my purse. And that was...
And your bracelet.
Yes, and I lost my Cartier bracelet. So somebody's walking around Jackson with a very nice diamond Cartier bracelet. But I hope it brings you whatever you deserve, whoever has it. So anyway, I mean, maybe they could do it and pay their rent or something. I don't know, whatever. But it's fine. You said you were going to buy me another one. So Anyway, so that's, we talk about it and everybody goes home and that's it. Of course, production's reaching out to us and they were asking if I could do a scene with Latrice. I could do a scene with Letitia. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing a scene with Letitia, but I do want to talk to Latrice because at this point in my mind, I wanted to apologize to Latrice because like I said it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that happened there. And it really had nothing to do with her. Her husband starts this entire thing, which I knew she wasn't going to address her husband. And that's a different issue. But I wanted to apologize that it happened at her grand opening. I didn't even know she had reservations about that, having his event during the same time until I watched the show. So they tell me that she and I were going to meet at 11. Then they called me back and say we were going to do it at 1. Then they called and said she couldn't do it. We were going to have to do it later. And then they said, well, we're not, things have changed. She's not doing it at all. And I said to Willie then, I said, Latrice is talking to Letitia and she's trying to convince her not to have a scene with me. So I call her. She said that I never reached out to her. I called her twice because I wanted to talk to her and apologize because at this point, I know that was her family that my niece was fighting with. And, I wanted to say, listen, I didn't even have an issue with that because one, my niece didn't know who your people were. Your people didn't know who my niece was. They were holding it down for you just like she was trying to hold it down for me and did. Now, we're going to put the facts out there. You talking about she got beat down. I didn't see one scratch on this girl.
Mm-mm.
I didn't see a thread or anything out of place.
All
but I'm
nonsense.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to even address that. But anyway, I still wanted to apologize to her because I hated that. I hated it happened at this place. So that's it. We don't speak anything else about it. Willie and I pack up our children. We get on the road. We heading back to New Jersey. We left to go to New Jersey on May 24th, 2024. Let's get to the phone. On June 10th, I receive a text message. I'm going to put these text messages up on here so you'll be able to see and read everything for yourself because they did show portions of the text message on the show, but it was out of context. So on that text message, it says, I was told production gave you my nephew's phone. We want that phone back ASAP. And, just the tone of it, I was like, whoop. I said, wait a minute, that was like a phone. And she said it was given to your cousin or whoever that was with you and da, 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 da. Well, I had never heard anything about the phone. This is my first time hearing anything about production giving a phone to someone in my family. I call her. Everybody wanted to know what my response was. I don't do a lot of texting. They want to call me the old bitch on the show. I'll take that. I don't like texting. So when I'm reading this, I call. And I said, hey, she was like, hey, girl. I said, what are you talking about? I said, what about this phone? She's like, production told me that they gave my phone to somebody in your family, your cousin or one of those, whoever was with you. And I said, well, what did she look like? She said, the one who had the braids, she had on the pink, the one with the braids. I said, oh, that's my niece. She said, yeah, well, she gave us the phone and I need that phone back. I said, well, yeah, you had said something about ASAP, girl. I said, don't put that in the text message with me because the tone was coming. She was like, well, oh, I mean, maybe I'm not saying ASAP, but I'm just saying we really want that phone back. She never said that he had passed, which, I mean, you didn't have to tell me that, but she was just saying she wanted the phone back. And in the text message, she sent me an address of the last time they pinged the location. It said 3 weeks ago, and we're going to put all of that up. 3 weeks ago, it was at an address. It wasn't my address, but it was on my street. So I said that to her. I said, well, that's not my address, but I'll call my niece and I'll ask her if somebody gave her a phone because I hadn't heard, she didn't say anything to me about a phone. So she said, okay. Hang up. Now, what I can't remember, because I don't want to be lying, I don't know if I called her that night or I called her that morning, but I did call her. And I said, Do you?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
No.
So I called and I asked her, I said, hey, did somebody, one of the production people give you a phone the day that the fight happened? Because this was 3 weeks ago. That happened on May 22nd. We are June 10th. June 10th or 11th. And she said, oh yeah. She said, remember you were saying you lost your phone. She said, but they gave me a phone. She said, but when I got home and asked you about your phone, you said you had your phone. JJ had your phone. And I threw that phone out the window because I guess it was one of theirs. And I said, oh, I said, yeah, well, she was saying it's her nephew's phone. So we hang up. I'm like, well, shit. I mean, she was out there fighting. If she realized it wasn't any of our phone, what the hell? She looked like holding on to a phone. Did you think she was going to drive back up to Taste and be like, well, I know we've been out here fighting, but I found they gave me somebody's phone. Is it one of y'all's? So at this point, that's it. I've never seen the phone, never heard about it, never had it. She said she threw it away. And then she was saying they pinged it. So in my mind, it kind of made sense because if she threw it out, if she threw it when she was driving off or whatever, it still would have been somewhere in the area. So hell, listen, we don't have the phone. We were getting ready to go on our anniversary trip though, because I honestly didn't think anything else about it after I talked to my niece. And then she sent me the message on that Friday because I remember we were out, but I was coming back to pack. That triggers my head because our anniversary is June 17th and we went to St. Bart, Anguilla and stuff. So we were packing for that. I get this text message and it says, on Monday, June 10th, I asked you about my nephew's phone and da 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 da. I'll put it up because I don't want to be lying what the text message says. She said, and I haven't heard back from you. So if before this escalates, I need to know what's up. So again, I pick up the phone and I call her. And I said, hey, sorry about that. I did forget to call you back. I reached out to my niece and she said that she threw the phone out. Yeah, bitch. And she's, I was like, whoa. I said, hold on, Latrice. So she's going in, click, hangs up the phone in my face. So, okay, it's immature. I'm grown as hell. So I call her back. I was like, why are you hanging up the phone? I'm telling you that I do not. That's broke bitch shit. That's broke. And going. And I was like, so then I'm getting routed in because I'm at this point, I don't know who the fuck you talking to. And so we're kind of going back and forth. Click. She hangs up the phone again. So I thought about it. And I was mad. And I was thinking, when I see her, you know, all these thoughts came in my mind. So I said, well, let me send a message back just so I can have a paper trail, just in case I see her somewhere and it goes down. So I text her back. I said, basically what I was trying to tell her on the phone. I see that you're trying to make an issue with me over something that I really thought was between Letitia and me, because I didn't have an issue with you. You are asking me to produce a phone that I do not physically have, and talking about it's going to escalate. Basically, I'm taking this as a threat, and now I'm scared. So I left it at that because I just, I'm afraid at this point. I'm afraid that something's going to happen. So she writes back and she's like, girl, F you, and da-da-da-da-da. And she goes, y'all, her text message back was so long that, it took me like literally, I didn't even finish reading it that night. I read it the next day, but it was absolutely disgusting.
She got after it. Whatever she felt about me, us, and whatever we got going on, she dumped it all out in that text.
And I could not believe it because I had no idea that this girl felt this way about me.
Yeah.
From antique face to, you unaccomplished, nothing. She went in. I will put this text message up. It's actually kind of been floating around out there if you guys have not already seen it, but it was long. It was disgusting. It was immature, and it really showed who she truly is. And so that was that. We get through that. And at that point, I didn't think anything else about the phone or her. And I knew because our decision had already been made. When we left that brawl, my husband said to me that we were done. But I knew that we had a contract to fulfill. We had not filmed the reunion at this point. Now we're on June 14th. And so we found out we were going to be filming the reunion in August. So here we go. I did not find out that her cousin died until the day before the reunion. They send us all of the episodes so we can view every episode before we filmed the reunion. And in one of the episodes, when she begins to talk about the phone, actually, it's the last episode, she says her cousin died. And I was like, oh my God. Now, at this point, I did still feel sympathy and empathy for their family. I called Sophia. I said, oh my God. I said, girl, did you know that Latrice's nephew died? And she said, no. She said, I saw it in the episode and da 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 and whatever. And so, I mean, it still didn't change anything because I never had a phone, didn't know anything about the phone. And I told her what had happened. But in my mind, I was thinking, even if she would have said that when she called initially or text initially, and I talked to her on the phone, I could have gone to my neighbor's house. I could have tried to see exactly the address that she sent. Maybe the phone, it was 3 weeks later, but I don't know. Maybe the lady's yard person or somebody found, I don't know, but I would have definitely tried to figure out like, hey, because, you know, she explains it as if, well, we were thinking about it later and we wanted to get those memories. Cause in my mind, you say your nephew passed a week later from May 22nd. Were y'all not trying to get the phone before then? Because on the message she sent me, it said the last ping was 3 weeks before that. So still, the person I am, if she would have said that to me in June when we were talking about it, I still would have called my neighbors or had somebody to go past there to see if we could find something. So that's my take on the phone. I knew nothing about it. I never had it. And I mean, if you so about it, then, you know, ride past there and try to look for it. So, and finally, us quitting the show. We had already made up in our minds that we were not coming back. Like I said, after that situation. And then when we got to the reunion, when I watched my opening and I said something about it in August and the show did not come out until November, and what I discussed and said that I was unpleased with still was there. When I watched that final scene with these two girls coming together who just a few months before that were enemies. This girl stood over you and said, you are an insecure bitch. This is the same girl who told me you were insecure when we initially talked about each and every person on the show. I watched that scene and I just think about how our, our executive producer asked me if it hurt my feelings watching the two of them talk about me. I was like, no. No. These two people are the biggest liars I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And my reason for going on live and us quitting the show is because those two will never control my narrative. Because the way they lie, oh, they would have had a story for y'all on how I had been fired or how they had kicked me off the show, even though we all know they don't have any power to have anybody kicked off of anything. But they are never held accountable for anything they do. So why would I let people in this free world think that they were the reason that I was not a part of something that I was asked to come back to, that I know that I gave a lot to, that I know I'm one of the main reasons a lot of people tune into this show. And yes, I said it. So that is why we wanted to make sure that it could not be manipulated. And it was said to who it needed to be said to, but it was also sent from our attorney, our attorney to their attorney as well before we made that announcement. So that, my friends, do you have anything to say about this?
No,
I know
you said a whole lot. You know, I think in this, and I said it even on my podcast with JG, the Why Willie podcast. You know, my overall summary, and to put a period on it, is you have a decision. When you watch the circus, you can't be the ringmaster. That's Carlos. So you have to figure out who do you want to be. You can either be the animal or the clown.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we chose collectively to be neither.
Yeah.
So we walked out of the circus, and that's the reality of it. I think we can continue to harp on who said what, how it happened, but the end of the day is, we're not going to play victim to something we signed up for, even though we was actually be on the show. And I also think it behooves us to understand, to anybody else out there who wants to be a part of reality TV, you have a choice. You know what it is when you sign up. You understand what's a part of it. I think as we sit back and we kind of move on to greener pastures, we realize so much more could have came from the show. Could have come from the show. Excuse me. So that's what's frustrating, that even with the mess and the drama and the theatrics, there still could have been a lot of good collectively we could have added to the show that was never exploited. And I think that's the most disappointing part of the experience, that we never, even though we talked about what we wanted to do and how we were going to achieve it collectively between it was just 4 couples, 3 or 4 couples, we could have promoted Jackson, the community, our storylines in a way much better light. And all that kind of got chopped off the table, and we just we kind of just showed a product that was women fighting, messiness, and me about to go damn near toe to toe in blows with Glenn. And I say this, and I'll continue to say this: the best thing that happened that day was that nothing actually happened between Glenn and I. However, were there blows thrown? Sure. Were there other things that went on? Sure. However, it's not what I want to reflect of us and you and I individually. And so we made a decision, and it's a new year and it's new opportunities. But I want everybody out there who continues to support us and everything we got going on, just understand that we're not going to play the victim. This is where we're at.
Yeah. And I wanted to make sure that it was very clear, because not that I care what people say. Like he said, we knew what we were signing up for. I mean, when you're on a reality television show, some people like you, some people don't like you. And it is what it is. But when you are having people question my character, my integrity, who I am morally, that was an issue for me. And I know that I am leaving and we are walking away knowing we had the best intentions going into it. And we are leaving with all of that intact. I wish it nothing but the best. I loved my time there up until that last really episode. Because it was my intentions before that. It was my intentions to come back. I mean, people think, oh, well, he doesn't like it and he thinks he's better than that. No, my husband also played a role of whatever. He wanted to come back this season and give an olive branch to the guys. I don't know if maybe they were given the narrative like, well, whatever Willie says, shoot it down. I don't know. But we talked about it before we were going down there. You said, I really want to take time to get to know Glenn and Cliff outside of this little feuding we've been doing these last 2 seasons.
Right.
And, at that pool hall, when they were like, F y'all's podcast and this, I really thought that y'all were joking. After New Orleans, what really hurt my feelings, and I think I got more wrapped into it because I get more attached to stuff or involved in stuff than he does, is when we were on our way home from New Orleans, Willie was just like, no, I think we good now, He said, I know Cliff and I probably won't be whatever. He said, but Glenn and I had a conversation and we'll be able to move forward. So we were looking forward to coming back another season. And that final episode. So like I said, today's F was finale. And it was because of the finale.
You want to take a break?
Yep. So we're going to take a break and we will come right back talking about the future. Okay, welcome back. Sorry, guys, we had to take a little break because, life is lifing and we do have toddlers running around here. So we are back and we are going into our second F for this week, and it is future. And we say future because in the beginning of every year, like we're at the first of the year, we do an annual vision board party.
Yes.
And this vision board party has grown into like the must attend event of every first of the year, it seems like. I mean, people are literally calling us saying, hey, when is your vision board party? I didn't get anything at the end of December. Are you guys doing it? Are you in Jersey? Are you in Mississippi? Where are you? And so it's something that we look forward to every year for us. And it looks like our friends and family look forward to it as well.
Yeah,
So,
I never knew. Well, I didn't know what a vision board was until you introduced it to me. It doesn't sound very masculine, right? That the first time we did it was in our old home, and you had all the girls over, and they brought their significant others, and I was like, well, I want a lot of things to go right in my life. If this is
but guys, okay, let me just say this before. First of all, vision boarding for my friends and my two prayer partners and I who started doing this together about 11 years ago. I've been doing vision boards probably 20 years. But when I moved up here, I got with my line sister and a friend that she introduced me to, and we became like this prayer trilogy. Like we really just got together and prayed over things that were happening in our life, good, bad, ugly, whatever we were desiring and wanting and needing God to do in our lives, we would pray over it. So we started doing our vision boards together. So cut to back what Willie was saying. It was just a group of ladies. And then when we moved, because we were in an apartment at first, and then we moved, we had gotten a house. And so we invited everyone over to our house to do a vision board. They asked if the guys could come. I was like, yes, sure. Willie's here. Willie was kind of making jokes about it because I remember y'all's first vision boards were really kind
no,
of
I think
funny.
I took it seriously. I think my cousins and my
Yes,
brother,
because some of the things y'all were putting on those boards, y'all.
yeah, we was putting titties
Yes,
and alcohol on it.
yes,
Yes.
and car. I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting a car on it, but like it was really crazy until some of the things, because at the end of our vision board party, we pray over these boards. We're going to walk you through what we do at our parties. But at that time, we put the vision boards at the end of the night in the center, and we pray over them. Well, some of those things that these guys put on these boards,
It wasn't me.
they
I
got
took
them.
mine seriously. So
So when
she's
they
not giving
begin,
me credit here, and I don't know why.
no, you did. You came in and you were trying to explain to them what was
Right.
happening, but they were just like, "Oh, whatever, Willie. Where's the bar? Where's the beer?" And they cut a few pictures out of the magazines of some crazy things. Well, some of the things they put on these vision boards became reality. So they were like, "Okay, wait a minute." They thought it was some special magic. No, it's the power of prayer. And so, getting back to, we got here and we really make an entire ritual of this because for vision boarding for us it's off of the scripture Habakkuk. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying it right. You guys make sure, put it in our comments below. But I've always said Habakkuk 2:2, which is write the vision and make it plain. So someone introduced this to me, like I said, about 20 years ago, and I attended a gathering when I was in LA. And from that, I just carried it with me from in Atlanta, LA, Mississippi to coming up here. And I watched just things drastically change in my life. Things that I took to God in prayer, things that I put on these vision boards became reality for me.
No, I think the turning point for me was understanding that once you, well, I'll say this: there's a difference between a dream and a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I dreamt about a lot of things I wanted to come into fruition, but you also have to have a goal. And to have a goal, they say it's always best to write down the plan. And once I started having clarity in that, it motivated me to kind of pursue the things I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. I do believe in manifesting, putting things in the universe, and it comes back. But for me, it was the power of prayer for me. So I have some of my old vision boards here. I was saying I was looking back on one of these and thinking about, even where we are now. But I had put on here wanting to, with Oprah and our first lady at the time. Well, the next picture that I ended up putting on there is a picture of me meeting the first lady and the picture of the two of us when we were trying to conceive. I mean, I have on here healthy eggs, wanting pregnancy, praying over these things because of my, my situation and circumstances and what was going on with me physically, which we will talk about when we get to that F, fertility. But these are things that I put on my vision board. Healthy pregnancy. I put a picture of a pregnant lady with my face on top of it, praying for my family, praying for my marriage, our businesses, what we were doing. I saw one of the it was on this one because I have another one over there. When we were getting bricks and hops together, getting ready to open our business, wanting to have real estate. It says businesses in Mississippi, real estate property in Mississippi, real estate property in New Jersey, real estate property in New York, which are things that we all have now. And we were working on those things in 2017, 2018, 2019. So, we invite our friends and family over. These are people who've attended these parties. So like I said, they look forward to them each year. We have food. Everyone will come in. We mix and mingle because sometimes a lot of us have not seen each other since our last vision board party. Another one of my best friends, she always prints out scriptures and faith-based quotes, and we fold them up and we put them in a jar. So you will get a piece of paper, and what we have you do is to write down anything that you want to leave in the previous year, or you want to leave behind, you want to get rid of, a habit you may want to break, something that you're asking God to remove from your life, remove from your spirit. You get a paper and you can write down whatever these things are. Remember, you're still holding the paper or whatever. You go in and blindly pick something out. And really, we know that that's God guiding you and telling you what he wants to bring you into the new year. So after you've written these things down, you will read the scripture, quote, whatever you received out. And we discuss with everyone there what this is saying to you, what God is saying to you, thinking about what you just said that you were going to be releasing. Everybody goes around. We share these things. We, bond, go back and forth with it. During that time, Willie does we have a fire pit outside. So what he does is he builds a fire, and we call this part of it, let it burn. So what you've written down on that paper, and you're asking God to release, to get rid of, that you don't want this, and you're asking God to give you guidance to go into the future. You throw that paper into the fire and you let it burn. When you leave that fire pit, you turn around, you come back in this house, you do not look back, because that's when we began to start our vision boards, because you've given it to God and you're letting it go, letting go, let God. And I think that's your favorite part of the vision board.
Well, yeah, I like it the most out of making my vision board, because I think it really, I think it's you acknowledging what's been bothering you. And I think it's also a sense of like literally saying, God, burn this off me, release this off me.
Release it, yes.
And I think the biggest part of it is once we throw it in the fire, not looking back. And it's true, because I think so many times, even though things we know bother us, we second guess it, right? And I think that's a great kind of great position to be in, especially when you're trying to ask God to remove this off you.
Yeah. So once you throw that in the fire, you turn around, you come back in. Everybody has, we have the supplies here. So we have boards, people
glue, scissors, boards,
glue,
paper,
tape. People bring, all of the people who are coming to the party, we tell them to bring magazines. And so we have all of these magazines. So we'll have like a health and wellness section of magazines, beauty and fashion magazines. We have, whatever you're aspiring to, like all of the Forbes, the Black Enterprise, all of those magazines. So you're able to go through and pick out things, and people go through and our entire house, wherever they feel comfortable. We open it up and they sit down and we do these boards. And most of us, we do not finish them in this night, but you start them. And at the end, we pile them on top of each other. So everything is touching, because again, we want to touch and agree. When we're lifting these boards and everybody's petitions and desires up to God, we want to make sure that we're all in agreement. So we surround those boards and we pray over them. It's just an absolute amazing feeling and just experience. When I go back and I look at my boards over the years, I have some over here. I have these.
I did one
and
too. This is old.
Yeah, that's an old one. Your new one. He already has his new one. I'm still working on my new one. He was so ready for this year. You know what? I wanted to tell you, I was really,
Oh, what did you want to tell me?
No, babe, I was really proud of you, because normally I'll finish my board and you'll do like, that's one of your old ones, and you'll put things up. And I mean, they're still great. But this year, when I saw you,
Yes, Jesus.
yeah, when I saw you,
Won't
even
he do
after
it?
we prayed over them and everybody was gone, you were still in here working on that board, and you completed your board that night. And then you brought it in and you put it up where we put our stuff up in our room to watch and see. And so I was really
well, because I mean, there's a lot of therapists and doctors say when you see it time after time, the vision or whatever you have planned, there's like a 90% success rate in it, because subconsciously you start, one, the world starts working for you, and two, you start every day reminding yourself, this is the direction I'm going.
Yeah.
And 2024, like as we mentioned before, whooped our ass in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
This year, on top of my vision board, it says do, and that's kind of the state I'm in right now. I think I'm no longer talking. I'm no longer being fearful. I'm no longer worrying about what other people think. I'm no longer, and on and on and all the stuff that kind of hinders you from pursuing, things that you really want to discover or find out about yourself in a different way. So I think that's the purpose of a vision board, saying, hey, man, this is what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get there. Pick one or two things on your board, come up with a plan, and understand that, like, while you're doing this vision board and you're coming up with a plan and you discover the formula for the plan, it is tedious. You got to go after it each and every day.
Yeah.
It's grueling. You're going to fall off your horse. You got to get back on. And all I have to say for everybody in 2025, just don't quit.
No,
I can't tell you, like, I see time after time people, you have conversations, they're like, oh, I was like, hey, what about such and such? Oh, child, that didn't work out. Or you talk to your homeboy like, hey, dog, what happened with this? Man, that was, that was for this. I enough with excuses.
Yeah.
You got it. Don't
and
quit.
That's our motto this year. We no excuses. Willie and I said that we were locking in, and it is family first, family over everything.
Right.
And everything we are doing and pursuing and praying over, it is generational wealth and to, elevation for our family and our community. Everything we're doing, we want to pour into our family and our community, and definitely bridge this economic gap that we see and we're, in our community is plagued with. So that was it. That's it. That's our vision board party. That is what we are focusing on in our future.
If you haven't done one, I tell everybody, please do one. Do it with people who you really are intimate with, and people who you feel like could benefit from it. It's a very vulnerable, it's a very honest and open time. And I think when you kind of look at other people's vision boards, because everybody does it, you start to realize everybody's kind of in a similar boat, right? They may not openly communicate that, but people do want love. People do want money. People do want change. People do want to lose
babies.
weight.
You have people, all these things that they want.
And so as they put their plan together and come up with the formula and they pursue it, man, you realize that we're kind of all in the same boat. It's just a matter of encouraging each other.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Happy New Year to everyone. Make sure that you like, that you subscribe, and comment below if there's anything that you would like to hear the colognes talk about, discuss, or just to F it. We appreciate you giving us your time. We thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment and share with all of your friends. Happy New Year, everybody.
Peace.